Hello again, folks. It's Casper from Silver Tiger Media with you again, and we are very spoiled indeed because today we have joining us the magnificent lead singer of the mighty musical force that is Emarosa. Bradley Walden, how are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful, my friend. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
A pleasure indeed. Thanks so much for joining us for a chat. Look, congratulations on Versus, a tremendous work, and your vocals have really enriched the band's sound without altering the essential elements. Are you pleased with it?
Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
My pleasure. Pleased with the outcome?
Very, very. Yeah. I was very skeptical and lots of pressure, but everyone at Rise, everyone in the band was all very positive. It all came out the right way in the end.
Wonderful. And excuse me, as you say, a tremendous amount of pressure must have been there. But you bring such tremendous experience and skill to the group, particularly coming from Squid and the Whale.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was. I mean, I've been doing it for a lot longer than what a lot of people think. They could think that Emarosa just kind of plucked me out of obscurity, but I've been a musician for a very long time. So this kind of thing is very. There's a sense of accomplishment.
Wonderful indeed. And Bradley, there was a bit of controversy and much speculation surrounding the vocalist's position with Emarosa. And I don't propose to ask questions spurred by outside speculation. Instead, I'd like to ask, how did you come to be selected for the lead?
Well, they had a European merch person who had seen a YouTube cover that I had done years prior. And had sent it to Jordan Stewart, the programmer of our band. And he quickly reached out through email and asked me if I was interested in kind of meeting and talking. And, at the time, I was very skeptical because I knew the situation. I was a huge fan of Emarosa's, instrumental capabilities. I thought they were a phenomenal band, so I was intrigued. And throughout the course of maybe a year and a half, 2 years, we had gone back and forth because, wanted to make sure that it was the right fit. It was not just an overnight thing. It was very calculated. So it just ended up working out for the better, and we decided to pursue it.
Wonderful, and we're very thankful that you did, let me assure you. I think the video clip, People Like Me We Just Don't Play, is a tremendous way to focus on your role in the band. Was it fun to make?
I'm sorry?
I think the video clip, People Like Me We Don't Just Play, is a tremendous way to focus on your role in the band. Was it a fun clip to make?
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was just all performance, and they said, just kind of go for it. And the only thing I'm not, crazy about was when we shot that video, I hadn't really found myself, in the band as far as performance-wise. I didn't know, and so at times I was, a little uncomfortable, and I think that comes across maybe just to me because I know what I'm like, and so it caught me off guard. But it was still a lot of fun. We just shot another video, and I feel a lot better about that. And so, it's like anything. There's just a natural progression right now, and I feel like the longer we go, the more comfortable I'm becoming.
Absolutely. Now, Will, Jordan, and ERY are the remaining constant members, as I understand. But it seems to me that the entire journey has been necessary to establish the fantastic sound that you've achieved. Would that be a fair comment, do you think?
Yeah, actually, Jordan, and Will, the bassist, they're all original members, and they have been, the core of the band for a really long time. A lot of people are not familiar with the fact that he wrote 95% of the lyrics on all Emarosa's previous material.
Right.
And, as well as, obviously, the band writes instrumentally. So, that is still there and very apparent in Emarosa, and I think that you're right in saying, there's, I bring what I bring to the table. I'm obviously not the original members, an original member of the band. I bring what I bring to the table, and they still bring that unique sound that is Emarosa. You know what I mean? and it's something that nobody can really put their finger on. It's like, lots of bands can try to sound like Emarosa, but one thing that I always loved about this band was that, you knew who they were.
Absolutely, and as you say, instrumentally, they've always been fantastic. But I know I'm not alone in the opinion that the band is now sounding with your vocals better than ever before.
Well, I can't thank you enough. That's always awesome to hear that, people are supportive. And I wasn't sure how people were going to take it. And then, Versus came out, and it did the best record. It was the best opening week that Emarosa has ever had, and I was really proud of that.
Wonderful, you must have been indeed. But You Won't Love a Ghost is probably my favourite track from Versus. What's that track all about?
That's awesome.
You sing it with such passion. What's the track about?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. You know what? And I don't want to spoil it, but that's that's the song that we just shot a video for.
Oh, right.
So I think there's a, I had a certain thing in mind when I wrote "But You Won't Love a Ghost," but a lot of it's one of the first songs that I ever sang about of self-reflection, and it's not about people think like, oh, it's about like death or something like that, and it's not just because you put ghost in a title, people are going to just assume. And I the song obviously has a very deep meaning for myself, but I enjoy the fact that because it's so vague, that people can find their own meaning in the song, and take that and run with it and really, and have it affect them in a way that maybe the intent of the song would never have had.
Indeed, beautifully put too. Now, we're very excited that you're coming to see us I'm sorry, I've got to say, I'm really excited that you put a video clip to that. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I also can't wait. I haven't even seen it yet, so I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, brilliant. Now, we're very excited that you're coming to see us starting on June 4th in Perth. I know there are a great many people busting to see you play live, me included. Obviously, we'll hear a good amount of Verses.
Yes. Yes,
brilliant.
You will hear plenty of Verses. You will hear music from every single Emarosa record.
Oh, fantastic. I was hoping that would be the case, but I have to ask you, are there any tracks from the past that you haven't had the opportunity to perform live but would like to?
Oh, that is such a great question. I've never been asked that, so thank you so much for asking that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you know what? There is a couple. I'd have to say, thinking about off the top of my head, I'd say for sure. We performed it. We performed it once a while back, but I'd have to say, "Broken" versus "The Way We Were Born" is one of my favorite Emarosa songs of pretty much their whole career. So there's that song. I also we've never performed it, but I always sorry.
That's all right.
I always liked "Her Advice Cost Us a Life."
Yes.
Instrumentally, those are just songs that I really love. And the old songs that we do, I get to put my spin on it, and I'd love to, maybe one day we will. We've been, obviously for good reason, we've been winding down on playing the old material, and I think, we have there's plenty of old material in this tour coming up, just because we haven't been there in so long. I've never been to Australia, and so I'm so much looking forward to that. And I know as a fan, if I were to come see a band after not being able to see them for years, and they didn't play some of the music that made me fall in love with them, I would be very torn up about it.
Absolutely agreed. But in saying that as well, we're finding that there's an evolution of a new generation with you at the lead, which is fantastically exciting. Yeah, I said it before, and I feel like Versus was the right record to make. I feel like it is a stepping stone. I feel like it's a stepping stone for what Emarosa is going to become. Absolutely.
with everything like I said comes growth, and I think that the best of Emarosa is still so far yet to come.
Oh, magnificent news indeed. Bradley, I have to ask you, how did you personally start in music?
I actually started very late. I always loved music when I was a kid, and I'd sing in front of my family on the fireplace in a fly swatter. But I never pursued music when I was young. I actually went into the military, and
good man.
I went to I was in the U.S. military for 4 years, and I got out, and I decided that I wanted to pursue music because I actually went home on leave and went out to see my family, and we were all doing karaoke. And I don't remember what song it was, but I ended up singing karaoke, and my whole family was there, and then their reaction and like just seeing their faces light up, like, hey, you can really sing, and I'd never thought of it,
Wow.
And so it was just a matter of, man, every single person, my family's so pumped right now, and it was just kind of sparked something in me.
Oh, fantastic!
And that was maybe 9 years ago.
Wow. Bradley, I have to ask, what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Air Force, U.S. Air Force for 4 years. I was a firefighter.
Fantastic. Well, I've got to say that certainly explains your determination and intestinal fortitude to take on this role at military training.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, pleasure indeed.
I don't know. I don't know if this matches up to being in Iraq, but I think it's a different kind of pressure, different kind of situation.
Certainly. Well, for one, I mean, whether you're a serviceman from Australia or the US, it doesn't matter. We're all in the same battle, and we thank you very much for your service and your time.
Oh, thank you for that.
Pleasure indeed. Who would you say have influenced you along the journey personally, from a musical point of view?
Personally, like my who I've had personal experiences with.
Yeah.
I would definitely say Jason Venna from Acceptance. Huge influence on me musically and personally. Just Acceptance is my favorite band, so
magnificent.
That's a big one. That's such a tough question because a lot of the people that I've toured with they were in like younger bands, not very well known. Another one is Sean Mackin from Yellow Card.
Oh, really?
He's probably one of the best dudes I think I've ever met in our music world as far as my career. Hands down, one of the best dudes I've ever met.
Oh, fantastic!
And very, very, very positive force.
Brilliant. And, of course, you now have significant experience touring up front for Emarosa. Would you say that you have a favourite track to perform live at the moment?
Ooh. Oh, man. That's another good one. Yeah, I'd say there's a couple. I love playing 100 Crowns live.
Yes.
I love playing... let's see. I love playing 1996. Yeah, it is. I love playing 1996 on Bavard.
Yeah.
I love playing I'll Just Wait.
Yeah.
When we do. And as far as, old stuff too, I love being able to put those spins on my songs. Some of them I can't really relate to. And so I'm not as emotionally invested, but it's still a fun experience, being a fan of the band. Like, I can still enjoy that, I can still enjoy singing songs like We Are Life. Like, I can still appreciate performing those songs with people who also love that song.
Absolutely. And while you're talking about it, I'm getting more and more excited to hear you performing them.
Good.
Do you have a most satisfying show so far with Emarosa?
Do I what? I'm sorry.
Do you have a most satisfying live performance so far with Emarosa?
Oh, yeah, 100%. We played, it was a sold-out show. We played the Metro in Chicago, Illinois, and that was the first show that my mom got to come see. That was hands down that was just like she got to see everything kind of culminate from that, from start to where I was then, and it was just a huge deal. It was a huge, huge deal for her, and so.
Indeed. What a wonderful twist, if you like, to put on there. It must be so satisfying watching everything you've gone through to see you performing live and loud.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like I said before, I make music for myself, and so it's self-satisfying to see, to be able to, kind of support myself with it and do it as a job is really cool. I'm sure plenty of people are thankful for it, but this is all. I do music to get my own. Excuse my language, but I get to get my own shit out.
Yeah.
And so it's such a good feeling to be able to do that constantly and be praised for it. Like I don't think that's selfish or cocky. It's just like it feels anyone would feel good to be praised for doing something that they love to do.
Absolutely. And look, you have, if I may reflect your own sentiment, you do help us get all of our shit out too, particularly with tracks like But You Won't Love a Ghost.
I miss, sometimes I miss that point because I don't think about that. I think about, because I was never able to be a fan of music. My favorite band broke up before I even got to see them. And so I'm just now starting to learn about what it means to be a real fan of music because, Acceptance is doing like reunion shows now and writing new music. And so now I've just been getting those feelings of like, oh, wow, I'm so excited for a band. And I've never had that before. So it's starting to open me up to how other people will feel potentially listening to our music. And it's a weird transition.
I can only imagine what that's like, and only you in this specific role would understand from an Emarosa take how important that is. But we thank you nonetheless.
No, thank you.
Pleasure. Look, I've realised that you've burst out of the constraintive, disciplined roles of the military. Do you bring anything wild and outlandish to the band's rider?
Wild, like for the rider?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. No, I'm such a minimalist. I'm just happy to be playing shows. I have my own water. I'm pretty taken care of. We're very, as far as that goes, we're pretty simple. I think the worst thing we'd ever ask for is no black jelly beans.
And I think that's a fair rule to have for anyone too. So, What are the future plans following the tour? Is there just maybe a chance of another album soon?
Well, we have Warped Tour after this. We start Warped Tour 4 days after we get back to the States.
Right.
And then after Warped Tour, we'll probably we have some stuff in the works that hasn't been announced. But we are absolutely going to be writing as soon as we get home. We've already been writing, so there's going to be another album. It's just we're just making sure that it's done right and it's quality over quantity. We don't want to put out a record just for the sake of having content out there, because it's not about that.
Indeed. Well, that's tremendous news, Bradley. Thank you very much indeed for that. And congratulations again on Versus, and genuinely looking forward to seeing you perform for us. We can't wait.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Bradley, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. It's been terrific to chat with you. And please travel safely.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.